Dear students, in earlier class, I was discussing about the classification of organisms based on fundamental characters. And there are so many basic characters are present. Those are level of organization, symmetry, coelom. Based on these fundamental characters, they have divided into major 11 phyla. Those are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Echinodermata, Mollusca, and Chordates. These are main important phyla, and another one is Protozoans. These are all main classification we have done based on fundamental characters. In this session, we will discuss in detail about the first primitive phyla, that is protozoans. What is protozoans and how they are present and what is their locality, and in detail we will discuss in this session, that is about what? Phylum Protozoa. Phylum Protozoa. And dear students, this phyla is very primitive and it has various characters, and those characters are very easy to understand, and it is better to remember all the points of these protozoans because these concepts will repeat in upcoming topics. And first of all, we should come to know that what you mean by protozoa. If you split the word protozoa, you will get the meaning. Here, what is the meaning of proto means? The meaning of proto is first. The meaning of proto is what? First. Zoa means animals. Zoa means what? Animals. And these are the first living animal which are present on the earth surface. I am talking about what? Animals, not bacteria, virus, virids. These are the first animal present on the earth. That's why these are known as protozoa. I think you got it. What is the protozoa? These are the first animals which are existed on the earth. That's why these are known as what? Protozoans. And this protozoa term, this word is there, and this term was given by one of the scientists. His name is Goldfuss, and then the scientist who coined the term of protozoa means, that is Goldfuss. And it is not important for your examination, even though you must remember, and these kind of scientist name will be appear for upcoming topics and later. And how should remember this scientist name who discovered the term of protozoa means? His name is Goldfuss. You should remember like this. And these protozoans and human beings, there is argument. There is argument between protozoans and human beings, and these two organisms are telling we are dominant, we are very important. Later, these protozoans won the prize, and because of that prize, it got gold fur. You should remember like this, and this is the one what? Protozoa. And this protozoa having gold fur. Fur means what? Skin which has many hair, isn't it? And this is what? Fur. And this protozoa having gold fur. And just to imagine like this, you will get name of the scientist. That is what? Goldfuss. Goldfuss is a scientist who coined the term of protozoa. Later, these protozoans are studied under one of the important branch, that is protozoology. What is protozoology? The branch of science which deals with protozoans. That is known as what? Protozoology. And this protozoology was first studied by one of the great scientists. His name is Anton Leeuwenhoek. He is a scientist. He is the father of protozoology. What is protozoology? The branch of science which deals with protozoa, and this protozoa is about always unicellular organisms. These organisms are mainly made up of what? Single cell. If you want to observe the single cell, we need a microscope. He who invented the microscope? A microscope is mainly invented by Anton Leeuwenhoek. There is a relationship between microscope as well as protozoology, and he is the first person he observed protozoans under the microscope. That's why he is an inventor of microscope as well as he is the father of protozoology. Later, these protozoans, it can show different kind of characters. For example, you will take one of the common example, that is euglena. This is what? Euglena. And this euglena, which can behave like animal as well as it behave like a plants. It can show both characters. What is the characteristic of animals? And these euglena, absence of sunlight, it feed on other organisms. That is the characteristic of animal. And all animals, they can move from one place to another place. This euglena also move from one place to another place with the help of flagella. And this is the characteristic of what? Animals. And this animal character is exhibited by this euglena. Next, same euglena shows the plant characters. And like plants, these euglena, which can prepare the food because it has chlorophyll. It has what? Chlorophyll. Because of this chlorophyll, this euglena prepare the food like a plants. And because of this ability characters, and the scientists, they grouped these protozoans under one of the important kingdom, that is Protista. Is a kingdom Protista, mainly consists of what? Protozoa. And who is the scientist? He grouped all the protozoans under the Protista means. His name is Ernst Haeckel. Who is the scientist who grouped these protozoans under Protista? His name is Ernst Haeckel, and this is about introduction of protozoans. And dear students, here you must remember three important scientist names. One is Goldfuss. To remember this scientist name, just to remember Goldfuss. And this scientist, and this Goldfuss is a scientist. He invented the term of protozoans. And who is the father of protozoology? His name is Anton Leeuwenhoek, who grouped these protozoans under kingdom Protista means Ernst Haeckel. And these three scientists' names, they are not prescribed in NCERT textbook. Even though you must remember, because these scientists' name will repeat in upcoming topics, and this Haeckel will repeat in evolution topic, so that it is better to remember. And if you won't remember this scientist name, and you should remember these important terms. First animals, protozoans and unicellular, that is enough. Now, we will discuss in detail about what are the important characteristics of protozoans. And the first very important characteristic is all these protozoans are unicellular because they are made up of what? Only one cell, and they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means they having very well developed nucleus as well as cell organelles. That's why these are known as unicellular eukaryotic organisms. And next one is the mode of living. How these organisms are living in various places. The mode of living is, and these protozoans, they may be solitary. They may be solitary or colonial. What it means? Solitary means the organisms, they are living in alone. If they are living in single, that is known as what? Solitary. Solitary means they can live in single life. They won't depend upon others, and they are present in what? Single. And colonial, you might be seen colonial means these organisms are present in the group. For example, it is a one protozoa, it is another protozoa. How these protozoans are present? These protozoans are present in the group, isn't it? And this group is known as what? Colonial. If it is present single, that is solitary. For this, you can take best example. You might be seen in Discovery Channel, and deer, birds, elephant, they are always living in group. That is colony. And like this, these protozoans, some of the protozoans are living in colonies. And you might be seeing cheetah, it is most of all leading life single, it won't living in group, that is solitary. Some of the protozoans, they are solitary, some are colonial. This is the another characters. Next one is habitat. Habitat means where it is living place. Habitat. Here, while writing the features of any phyla, don't write place, you should write habitat. Habitat, it is also place where these organisms are surviving. And where these organisms are present, and these protozoans are mainly present in aquatic or in the water. It may be fresh water or it may be marine water. Means these protozoans are living in the water, and water may be fresh water or it may be marine water. What do you mean by fresh water? The water which is capable for usage of living organisms, those are known as what? Fresh water. And all the animals, they can use the water from well, river, lake, etc. These are what? Fresh water. These are utilized for living organisms, and those are known as what? Fresh water. And marine water means it is salt water. It is not utilized by any living organisms. And animals cannot drink ocean water or salt water. The same salt water cannot be used for any agriculture, cleaning purpose, and etc. And it is known as what? Marine water. And these protozoans mainly found in fresh water as well as marine water. And another characteristic is Some of the protozoans are endoparasites. Some of the protozoans are what? Endoparasites. Here two terms are present. We know that what is the meaning of endo means inside. What is parasite? The parasite, these are the organisms. They are living on or in of the organisms. Based on the on and in, they are grouped into two types of parasites. For example, if you take this diagrams, will explain nicely. And he is a human. Okay, this is a one human, and I will draw one pathogen, that is parasite. You can take protozoa, and this is the protozoa. Where this protozoa is present? It is present inside the body or on the body. It is present inside the body. That's why these are known as endoparasites. Parasites, these organisms, they will take benefit from the host. Here, who is the host? Man is the host. From the man, these protozoans, they will take nutrition. It will be survival. Parasite will take the benefit, and this host will be lost. That is the one characteristic of a parasite. This parasite is living within the body. Instead of body, in case of biology, we are using common term, that is host. What is that? Host. Human is the host for these protozoans or any parasites. And another one is, some of the protozoans are ectoparasites. Ecto means what? Outside the body. For example, you can take, this is the one protozoa. It is present on the body. It is called as what? Ectoparasites. For the ectoparasites, you may be seen leech. Leech which can suck the blood from animal. It is present on the body. That's why leech is example for ectoparasites. You can take lice and ticks which are present in the hair or on the head. Those are also example for what? Ectoparasites. Like this, and these protozoans, some of the protozoans are living within the host. Those are endoparasites. Some of the protozoans are living on the host. Those are ectoparasites. This is the habitat of protozoans. In some textbook they have given, and this protozoans is also present in moist soil. They are present in the moist soil. These are the habitat of protozoans, mainly found in fresh water, marine water, and endoparasites or exoparasite. Some are living in the moist soil. This is the habitat of these protozoans. And after the habitat, you should go for all remaining fundamental characters we have studied in career class. And what is that fundamental characters? That is level of organization. Level of organizations. Dear students, already we have learned, and protozoans are belonging to which level of organization? That is protoplasmic grade of organization. That is protoplasmic grade of organization, because the protoplasma, which is regulate all the physiology and all the metabolic activity of these protozoans. That's why all the protozoans are an example for protoplasmic grade of organization. After the level of organization, which is the second one, that is symmetry. Which kind of symmetry we have seen in protozoa? In earlier class we have studied, and these protozoans, they can show asymmetry. What is asymmetry? A means it won't give identical parts. For example, you can take any protozoa. For the best example for protozoa is amoeba. Is that it? This is the amoeba. Now, I will cut this amoeba. You can see whether it can produce two parts. Become like this. No, it won't produce two equal parts. If you cut like this, it won't. You can cut any axis. These protozoans cannot give equal half. That's why these are asymmetrical organisms. You can take euglena. If I cut this euglena like this, one side there is a flagella, another side it is absent. If you cut like this, it won't give any two equal parts. That's why all the protozoans are example for asymmetrical. These are all the concepts generally they will ask in competitive examinations. Later, after the symmetry, and next one is, we should go for digestive system. Here, in these organisms, because these protozoans are unicellular, there is no any organ system level of organization. That's why in protozoans, digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system, reproductive system, all kind of things are totally absent. Instead of those organ system, and the main function was done by cell organelles. And how these amoeba digest the food material. And whatever the food it is engulfed by the protozoans, it is mainly digested by one of the cell organelle, that is food vacuole. Where food get digested, food is get digested in the food vacuole. How food vacuole is formed? How amoeba which can engulf the food? That is very interesting concept. For example, you should take, this is a amoeba. Now there is a food. You can take, it is a one insect. Okay, it is a food of amoeba, and this amoeba which can engulf the food by producing pseudopodia. How this pseudopodia is produced means, these are the finger-like structures are there. These are the pseudopodia due to movement of cytoplasma, and this is what cytoplasma present in the amoeba, which can move in particular direction, which can extend their pseudopodia to collect these food particles. What happens in the next stage? This amoeba can extend the pseudopodia like this. Okay, this is the nucleus, and this is the food. Okay, and here what is the change? And now this pseudopodia is extended like finger-like structure. That's why these pseudopodias are necessary for two processes. And this is the pseudopodia is necessary for what? One is locomotion. The main function of pseudopodia is for the locomotion as well as to collect the food or to gather the food. And this is the one character. Later what happens? And these both pseudopodia, they will fuse together to produce what? One vacuole, and this vacuole is known as what? Food vacuole. And this food vacuole, it can release us some of the enzymes. Those are proteolytic enzymes. Those proteolytic enzymes which can digest the food. It may be euglena, it may be Paramecium, it may be any bacteria or whatever it may be. And those are digested inside the food vacuole, This is the mode of digestion. Here, this food is get digested within the cell or outside the cell. The digestion takes place inside the cell. That's why that kind of digestion is known as intracellular digestion. What is intracellular digestion? Here the word itself indicates intra means within. Intra means within. Cellular means there is a presence of what? Cell. The cell which can inside the cell there is a digestion of food that is known as what? Intracellular digestion. And another type of is there that is intercellular digestion. Actually, it is not there in this group, and you can take here. This is intercellular digestion. It is inter, T-E-R means between the cell. This is the one cell. This is another cell. If you take it as a food, and these cells releases enzymes and digest the food, and this food get digested between the cell. That's what is known as what? Intercellular digestion. But in case of protozoa, which kind of digestion takes place? That is intra. Intra means within. Within the cell, there is a digestion that is known as intracellular digestion. And after the digestion, next one is what are the locomotory organs? That is locomotory structures. What is the locomotor structure means? These are the structure, those are responsible for movement of protozoans. We can move with the help of legs. Birds, they can move with the help of feathers. Fishes, they can move with the help of fins. They have a locomotor structure. Like that, these protozoans also, they can move from one place to another place with the help of locomotor structure. What are the structures are present in amoeba means, in case of protozoa means, that is pseudopodia. What is pseudopodia? These are false legs. These are mainly found in amoeba. That is what? Pseudopodia. These are the false legs. They involve in locomotion as well as collection of food. And another locomotor structure, that is cilia. Where we have seen in cilia, these areas are very minute hair-like structure which are present in some of the protozoans like Paramecium. And this is the Paramecium. Okay, and these are the nucleus, and this Paramecium has small hair-like structures. Okay, these small hair-like structures are known as cilia. These are known as what? Cilia. The continuous beating of cilia, these Paramecium, they can move one place to another place, as well as, and these cilia also necessary for collecting of food particles. And another thing is, if you look at this cilia, they create water current. How it can create water current? And these cilia, they can beat continuously in particular direction, which flows the water inside the gullet, means body cavity. Along with the water, these organisms, they will collect the food particle. That is the one important characteristic of ciliary organisms. And after the cilia, some of the organisms they having some other locomotory organs. Those are flagella. Here, what is the flagella? It is a little different. Cilias are very small hair-like structure, but this flagella, it is a long thread-like structure. But both are performing same function as well as anatomical structure is also same. And this flagella we have seen in Euglena. It is also found in another protozoa, that is Trypanosoma. And now we will take common example which is described in NCERT textbook, that is what? Euglena. This is what? Euglena, and this Euglena has long thread-like structure. This is known as what? Flagella. And this flagella, cilia and pseudopodia, they can perform same function, that is locomotion as well as collecting of food particles. Next one is some of the protozoans, they does not having any locomotive structure. Generally, in such organisms, locomotive structures are absent, like sporozoans. And these are the kind of protozoa, they don't have any kind of locomotive structure. And these are main important structure that helps to move from one place to another place. And this is what locomotion of protozoans. And next question is, how these organisms they can respire? And human beings, we are very highly complex animal. We can exchange the gas molecules with the help of respiratory system. But these protozoa does not have any respiratory system. Even though how it can survive with the help of plasma membrane with the process of what? Diffusion. Respiration is takes place by the respiration is mainly takes place by the plasma membrane. And this is what? Plasma membrane. This is also plasma membrane, and this is also plasma membrane through which they can exchange the gas molecules by the process of what? Diffusion. For example, you should take here. This is the oxygen present in the environment. It is enters into the Euglena through the plasma membrane. By using the oxygen, these organisms performing various metabolic activities, as a result which can remove the carbon dioxide. And this removal of carbon dioxide, intake of oxygen, it is mainly done by plasma membrane through the diffusion process. And this is the way of respiration. And after the respiration, next one is what? Digestion. And sorry, digestion is over. After that, excretion. That is very important. How these organisms remove the waste. And these organisms does not have any kidney to remove the waste because these are unicellular. If any waste is generated inside the cell, how it is removed? It is removed with the help of contractile vacuoles. With the help of contractile vacuoles. On these contractile vacuoles, they can remove the nitrogenous waste as well as excess salt content. For example, we should take this Euglena. It has what? One vacuole, that is contractile vacuole. If this Euglena or any protozoa consists of nitrogenous waste, generally these protozoans they can release the nitrogen waste, that is ammonia. That is what? Ammonia. Ammonia is the one nitrogen waste, and it is very toxic for the life. And it's most toxic nitrogen waste mainly produced by aquatic animals. To remove this ammonia, they take the help of contractile vacuums. And this ammonia, it is sent out to the contractile vacuoles, and that main function is known as osmoregulation. And the excretion of these protozoans they have done with the help of contractile vacuoles, and these contractile vacuoles are necessary for which process? Osmoregulation. Osmoregulation, and this is the mode of excretion. And after the excretion, what are the things are remaining? The remaining things are the way of reproduction. And in these protozoans, there is no any nervous system, there is no any reproductive organs, all are absent because these are made up of what? Single cell. But that single cell perform all kind of physiological and metabolic activities. That's why, and it is very strange how this single cell perform all kind of activity done by the human beings. And this is some basic information about characteristic of protozoans. I think you people you must remember all the terminology of this concept. Here once again, what are the terms you must remember in this concept means, first of all you should remember what is protozoology, study of protozoa. Later, all these are unicellular organisms. Later, they are solitary. You should use these terms. Don't write they are in single, they are in group. They won't give good marks. It is better to attract great marks. You must use these terms. Solitary, colonial. They are mainly found in fresh water, marine water. Some are endoparasites. Many of these protozoans are endoparasite. These are mainly living in the host. If they are living on the host, that is ectoparasites. Some are living in the moist place. Later, you should go for level of organization symmetry, and this is very important. The digestion of protozoa takes place by the food vacuoles by releasing some of the proteolytic enzymes. Later, you will go through locomotor structure. This is very important. Based on this locomotive structure, they will ask many questions. And the zoolopodia commonly found in amoeba, cilia found in Paramecium, flagella is present in the euglena. Some of protozoans does not have any locomotory organs. Excretion takes place by the contractile vacuoles by the process of osmoregulation. These are some basic information. Later, now we will discuss in detail about how these protozoans they can reproduce and continue their life. That is comes under reproduction. I hope you people understand all these concepts. These are very basic. You must remember all the terms. And after this, now we will discuss in detail about reproduction. Now Now we will discuss how these unicellular protozoans they can reproduce and continue the generation. That is concept of what? Reproduction. Here, what do you mean by reproduction? Reproduction is a one biological process. It is just like a life process. You are breathing, you are digesting the food material, you are exchanging the gas molecules, and how this digestion, absorption, excretion, and nervous system, all kind of physiological processes are there. Like that, reproduction is the one. It is a one biological process in which the organisms produces of its own kind. It can produces of its own kind, and that is known as what? Reproduction. And what is reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process in which the organisms produces of its own kind. Of its own kind means the progeny must resemble the parents. We should take human beings, and we are came from the mother and father, and we people resembles our father and mother, or sometimes we can resemble our grandfather as well as grandmother, and this process is there. That is what? Reproduction. In case of amoeba, they can reproduce for the sake of continuity of life, and this continuity of life is the main important process is found in every animal as well as the plants in the earth. Not only in plant and animals, every life of the earth they can reproduce because of their generation. Like this, these amoebas also reproduce for their existence. How it can reproduce? They can reproduce with the help of two methods. What are those two methods? One is sexual reproduction, and another one is asexual reproduction. They can reproduce both sexual as well as asexual. What do you mean by sexual reproduction means? This is a kind of reproduction where there is an involvement of two gametes. There is an involvement of what? Two gametes. One is the male gamete and another one is female gamete. But you people don't get any sex of protozoans, and there is no male protozoa and female protozoa. I got it? And there is no any differentiation between male and female, but we can differentiate between the gametes. One is the male gamete and another one is female gamete. For example, for our understanding purpose, I will draw male gamete like this. Okay, this is a male gamete. If you think like this, in case of female, it is a female gamete. And this both male and female gamete is produced by single protozoa, and these two gametes fuse to each other to produce what? Progeny. Progeny means offsprings, child, and next generation. Here, in this reproduction, there is actively participation of two gametes. That's why it is known as what? Sexual reproduction. And this sexual reproductions we have noticed in sporozoans. These kind of reproductions we have seen in sporozoans. It is a class of one protozoa, and this group of organisms they can exhibit sexual reproduction. Okay, and next one is how these organisms reproduce asexually. In case of asexual means what? A means absent. Sexual means there is no involvement of gametes. In this reproduction, total gametes are absent. In that time, single parent, the single organism, the single cell, it can produce as what? Another kind of organism. That is what? Another kind of protozoa. And it's called as what? Asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, there is no involvement of gametes. Absence of the gametes, the parent itself it can produce us into offerings by the various methods. What are the methods through which they can reproduce asexually means one is by the process of budding. By the process of what? Budding. And another type by the process of binary fission. By the process of what? Binary fission. And next one is by the process of spore formation. By the process of what? Spore formation. These are the three mode of, and another mode is there, that is multiple fission. And these are four types of reproduction we have seen in protozoans. And these protozoans they can reproduce without gamete, that is asexual reproduction. And this asexual reproduction mainly took place by different mode of reproduction. One is budding, another one is binary fission, third one is spore formation, fourth one is multiple fission. And now we will discuss in detail how they differ from each other. And first of all, we should go for budding. How these amoeba or protozoans they can reproduce by the process of what? Budding. Here, what is the meaning of bud? The budding is a process that is reproduced by the process of by the bud. Here, what is the bud means? You should take any protozoa. I will draw one protozoa here. Okay, this is a one protozoa. This protozoa it can produce us extra growth on their surface. This is the surface, isn't it? In this surface, it can produce us what? Extra growth. And this extra growth is there, that is known as bud. When extra growth is formed, later this nucleus is there, it will be divided into two. After the division, this nucleus migrate to that bud. And after moving off this nucleus to the bud, what happens? It will be detached from the parent. How it is detached? It becomes like this. After detachment, this is a parent, this is a offerings. I got it. This is the progeny, this is the parent. And this kind of reproduction is known as budding. The budding is very simple. It is also found in fungus, and in the organism, on surface of the organism, there is a formation of extra growth, and this extra growth is known as bud, and the kind of reproduction is known as what? Budding. And second one is binary fission. What is the binary fission? The word itself indicates bi. Bi means what? Two. And fission means splitting. There is a single animal split into two, that is binary fission. How this binary fission is present means, we should take the example of amoeba. This is what? One amoeba, and this amoeba undergoes binary fission. When it is getting to the binary fission, what happens? And there is a division of protoplasma as well as nucleoplasm. What happens? It becomes like this. Okay? And nucleus become what? Double. And this cleavage will enters into entire organisms, later develops into two organisms. Okay, develops into two organisms, and this is the binary fission. And you might be noticed, in case of budding also we got two organisms. In binary fission also we got two organisms. What is the difference between budding and binary fission is we can differentiate based on size of progeny. Here, in case of budding, the progeny is smaller than parent, isn't it? But in case of binary fission, both progeny as well as parent, as both progeny as well as parent, they having similar size. That is the one difference between budding as well as binary fission in case of protozoans. And next one is spore formation. What it means? Spore means, and that is the third type, that is spore formation. And these protozoans, they can reproduce by the producing of what? Spores. By producing what? Spores. The question is, what do you mean by spores? And these spores are single asexual cells. Asexual cells involved in asexual reproduction. These are the specialized single asexual cells. They can actively participating in asexual reproduction. And how these cells are present means, for this it is better to go through one of the best example, that is fungus. You should take a bun and you should keep that bun or any kind of sweets at moist place. After a few days, you may be noticed that bread or bun is completely covered with fungus. Isn't it? That bun is completely covered with what? Fungus. Later, we can blow it. When you blow, you will get some dust particles which are present in front of you. And those are not dust, those are very minute pores. Those are minute spores. And each spore develops into one individual fungus. Like this, and these protozoans, they can produce such very minute single cell, and those are evolved into entire organism, that is known as spore formation. We have seen in sporozoans. And last type of reproduction is there, that is multiple fission. That is multiple fission. And this multiple fission is different from binary fission. In binary fission, how many organisms we get? We got only two. But in case of multiple fission, the single organism split into many pieces, develops into many organisms. And this multiple fission, generally we have noticed in case of such protozoans and some other organisms. In protozoans, this kind of multiple fission takes place under unfavorable condition. In which condition? The protozoans, they can reproduce by the process of multiple fission under unfavorable condition. What it means? Unfavorable condition means these are the conditions in which organisms cannot survive. We can survive the temperature when it becomes some 35, 37 up to 40. If the temperature will be crossed more than 50, whether human beings can survive, because it is extreme temperature. We cannot live too much of cold as well as hot, and that condition is not suited for the life, and such condition is known as what? Unfavorable condition. And there is the amoeba, and in this amoeba, it survives at room temperatures. For example, for them, if you maintain more than 50 degrees Celsius, more than 70 degrees Celsius, if you maintain minus degrees Celsius, these are odd climatic conditions not suitable for the survival. That is known as what? Unfavorable condition. When these protozoans are facing unfavorable condition, that time they can reproduce by the process of what? Multiple fission. How it can produce? That is the process of ancestration. How ancestration is formed means, for this you should take best example of amoeba. In this amoeba, you will get all the basic characters: pseudopodia, nucleus, and food vacuoles and contractors and all cell organelles. Okay? When there is a unfavorable condition is present, then this amoeba, which withdrawn all the pseudopodia and converted into ball-like structure. Now it become like this ball-like structure. Okay? I think you can differentiate this amoeba and this amoeba. Whether both are same? No. There is a presence of pseudopodia, but here those are withdrawn inside to form a ball-like structure. Once this ball-like structure is formed, it is surrounded by hard substance that is released by the plasma membrane. And this plasma membrane produces what? Hard coat. And this is known as what? Cyst. And it is very hard, which can protect this amoeba from unfavorable condition. This is known as what? Cyst. And that process is known as encystation. That is known as what? Encystation. And this encystation allows these organisms to survive during unfavorable condition. Once cyst is formed, it is very hot. It won't allow any extreme condition. It may be cold, it may be temperature, it may be any pathogen cannot pass into this amoeba. In this condition, what happens? And this cyst, in this cyst there is a presence of what? Amoeba like this. And this amoeba, it can multiply within the cyst. And these are amoebae. These are what? Small amoebas. And here, in case of binary fission, only there is two organisms are developed. But in case of encystation, how many amoebas are present here? Many amoebas are present. When this kind of situation will be remaining up to passing of what? Unfavorable condition. When unfavorable condition is completed, when condition becomes favorable, then what happens? This cyst will be damaged. This cyst will be open, it becomes damaged and releases all these amoebae outside, will become what? Amoeba, like this. And here, for single reproduction, how many amoeba we got? We got more, and that's why it is known as what? Multiple fission. And this is the kind of reproduction we have seen in protozoans. Because they want to survive during unfavorable condition, that's why God has given such kind of process to survive during unfavorable condition. And these are all types of asexual reproduction we have seen in all kind of protozoans. Dear students, and this is about what? Protozoans of their important features. Later, after all these characters and these protozoans, again you have classified based on locomotor structures. As we know that what are the locomotor structures are mainly found in protozoans, that is cilia, pseudopodia, as well as flagella. Based on presence and absence of such locomotory organs, the organisms are classified into 4 types. Those are classes. How many classes are present in phylum Protozoa? There are 4 classes are present, and those 4 classes they have done based on which structure? Based on locomotory structure. Based on locomotor structure, these organisms are grouped into 4 classes. And what are those 4 classes? Means first one is amoeboids, and these are the amoeboids, and these are the protozoans. They having pseudopodium. Amoeboid protozoans. These are what? Amoeboid protozoans. They having locomotor structure that is pseudopodium. You might have seen in amoeba, and amoeba is the best example for amoeboid protozoans. They have pseudopodia through which they can move from one place to another place, as well as they help in collecting of food particles. And second class, that is flagellated protozoans. And these flagellated protozoans, they can move with the help of flagella. With the help of what? Flagella. For this, which is the best example? For the flagellated protozoa, the best example is Euglena. This is what? Euglena. And this Euglena has flagella through which it can move from one place to another place. For this, another example is there, that is trypanosoma. That is what? Trypanosoma. It is visible like this. This is what? Trypanosoma. And this trypanosoma has like this flagella. This flagella also performing same function. And this trypanosoma is responsible for one of the quite common interesting disease, that is sleeping sickness. Have you heard about this sleeping sickness? This is quite common diseases mainly found in Africa. And if anybody infected with this trypanosoma, generally they can show the disease, that is sleeping sickness. If you look at their face, you will get some symptoms. If you won't sleep for 3 or 4 days, what are the symptoms you can face? You will get headache, we have a lot of laziness, and our metabolic activity become nil. I think this kind of activities we have seen due to infection of this trypanosoma. It is quite common in Africa. And this is also belonging to flagellated protozoans. And third class is there, that is ciliated protozoa. What is ciliated protozoas? In earlier, before this, we have studied there is a paramecium. This paramecium has cilia like this. And this is about what? Paramecium. This paramecium has small hair-like structure. This is called as what? Cilia. And this cilia is completely covered and has the body that helps in to create water force through which it can collect the food. The opening of this paramecium will get, this is known as gullet. It is just like a mouth of human beings. And through this gullet, it will take the food and completely digested within the food vehicles. And this is the Paramecium is the best example for ciliated protozoa. And another thing is, there is a fourth class is there, that is sporozoans. What do you mean by sporozoans? Already I told you people, these are the protozoans, they can release some specialized single cell, that is spores. Those are responsible for asexual reproduction, and those are known as sporozoans. And these sporozoans, they can release what? Infectious spores. And when inhale this kind of spores, or once it contaminated with blood, it can cause us various problems. Dear students, already we know that one of the most very deadly, dangerous, and quite common for everywhere, that is malaria. You are very familiar with malaria. This malaria disease mainly caused by Plasmodium. I think you heard about this Plasmodium. This Plasmodium causes malaria diseases. And this Plasmodium, it is not a fungus. It is not any kind of virus. It is a protozoa. Once this protozoa enters into the RBC cells, after 3 to 4 days, we can express various symptoms when the infected stage is released into the blood. And generally where this is present means we can take our RBC cells. This is what? Our RBC. And our human RBC does not have any nucleus. We can take, in case of human beings, every cell of human body or any kind of organisms, generally they are made up of what? Nucleus. But RBC cells does not have any nucleus. Within this RBC, we will notice there is a small ring-like structure. And this, if you observe, within the RBC, there is a small ring-like structure that is a plasmodium. When you examine our blood under the microscope, in the RBC, if you notice such kind of ring-like structure, that is the plasmodium, which is responsible for malaria, and this Plasmodium vivax and different kind of species belong to the sporozoans. These are all types of protozoans which comes under animal kingdom. And this is about classification and important peculiar characteristic of protozoans. Dear students, as per your syllabus, they are not prescribed classification of classes of phyla, because they have, if you know the characteristic of phyla, that is enough, and the classes are not required, but it is mentioned in the material. That's why I explained in detail about classes. In upcoming class, we will discuss about another very interesting phyla, that is phylum Porifera. Thank you so much.